All right. So once upon a time, in a land close, very close, in the land of shapes, there was this little square who wanted to know what it took to be successful in life. So he orchestrates this interview with the three most successful shapes in his sphere of influence. And the first shape he interviews is a circle, and he asks what it takes to be successful. The circle looks at him and says, "You need to be well-rounded." The second interview was with a scalene triangle, and he asks what it takes to be successful. The triangle says, "You need to reframe your frame of reference to look at life from a different angle." The third shape he interviews is an oval, and he asks what it takes to be successful. The oval looks at him and says, "You really need to cut corners." Well, the square grows up to become immensely successful. In fact, he's so successful that the three shapes he previously interviewed now want to interview him about his success. And they set up the interview through his secretary, which is a right triangle, and they wait in eager anticipation to hear how their advice had shaped him. To their utter dismay, the square told them that none of their advice worked for him, and he addresses them one by one, starting first with the circle. He says, "You know, it's easy to be well-rounded when everything about you is pointless." Then he goes up to the triangle and he says, "You know, turns out there's only one angle that's right for me." And his secretary could be heard off on the side saying, "You got that right." Then he goes up to the oval and says, "You know, cutting corners didn't work for me because I live life on the edge." And just as he's about to turn and leave, he turns back and looks at him and says, "But if you really want to know how I became successful, come with me and I'll get you squared away." Here's the lesson. Each of our experiences, personalities, talents, characteristics will shape us differently for success in a very unique and personal way.